en el cual darle la vuelta a la rueda rotaria es una cosa que lo vemos todo el tiempo. Parte de esto es Pushpi. Pushpi, you're here because Rotary is just like this. It's a network. And in a network, we all meet and we all we share contacts in order, if you're gonna be somewhere, you share contacts in order to meet with different Rotarians. And that's how we met you. That's how we're planning on doing different things. I'm gonna say this in Spanish, Pushpi. De hecho, con Pushpi, algo de las cosas como rotarios que somos y que somos súper activos, que estamos comenzando a tratar de hacer, la verdad, que estamos ahí trabajando con un grupo de compañeros para ver si logramos hacer un panel forum con diferentes autoridades del país en función de la paz y de dónde estamos como país, en el cual estuviera representado parte educación, salud, medio ambiente y el sistema judicial de nuestro país. Algo pequeño que sería transmitido en la Conferencia Mundial de Becarios de Rotary International. Para conocimiento de todos, en el foro pasado, esta conferencia tuvo alrededor de casi 2,000 asistentes a nivel mundial, y gracias a Pushpi podríamos ser, si logramos encauzar e integrar todo, podríamos tener también el plato fuerte de este foro para que nosotros poderlo lanzar al mundo de cómo estamos acá en El Salvador, qué es lo que estamos haciendo o lo que no estamos haciendo, qué es lo que nos hace falta para poder estar, para poder lograr una paz en todo sentido. Entonces, es un reto, la verdad, que armar un evento de este tipo, aunque sea virtual, en poco tiempo, pero es algo un reto que nos puso Pushpi y que estamos tratando de lograrlo con estos compañeros con los que estuvimos en la barbacoa. Entonces, amigos, nuestro club sigue trabajando, seguimos entregando sillas de ruedas todavía, seguimos también con muchísimas ansias también, recordándoles que hay algunas fechas que tienen que guardar, como por ejemplo la del martes 8 de junio, que personalmente nos acompañará nuestro querido gobernador para nuestra cena Paul Harris, que va a ser el reencuentro con los clubes rotarios ya después de la pandemia. Al mismo tiempo, estamos también ya pensando en el cambio de junta directiva. Ya ahí nuestro presidente electo, Víctor Pineda, nos dará algunas sorpresas, algunas opciones que se discutirán. Al mismo tiempo, para los compañeros que tenían 1 o 2 semanitas de no acompañarnos y nuestro gobernador, todas esas fotos que usted ve ahí, nuestro querido gobernador, son de los diferentes proyectos que hemos estado realizando en este año. Diferentes apoyos que hemos hecho como Club Rotario, dentro de los cuales quizás uno de los más significativos que ha sido para esta membresía es un proyecto que tenemos con niños de las calles, que estamos apoyando a una fundación en el cual se les ha ayudado para comenzar a montar un centro de atención para un montón de niños desamparados que están solos, que no tienen papás, y que simplemente ellos viven su día a día y con lo que ellos logran recoger, con eso subsisten. Entonces, eso es algo que nos ha llenado de mucho agrado a nuestro club. Y igual, o sea, hemos estado también montando diferentes centros. Montamos un centro gracias a GBM también, que pudimos montar un centro de cómputo, pero no es en una escuela, sino que es en un centro vocacional. Igual ayudamos durante toda la pandemia, que entregamos desinfectantes, alcohol gel, diferentes implementos, seguimos entregando mascarillas, hemos entregado mochilas, hemos ido a sembrar arbolitos, Hemos también apoyado la cultura mediante obras de teatro que hemos patrocinado como club. Hemos patrocinado también diferentes becas a diferentes estudiantes a punto de graduarse de su bachillerato o high school. Hemos apoyado también el Hospital Bloom con diferentes equipos que necesitan también. Hemos hecho de todo, hemos hecho un poquito de todo. Y creo que de eso se trata Rotary. Eso es lo bonito de Rotary. Ahora continuamos con nuestro plato principal. Le vamos a pedir a nuestro querido Hernán López a ver si nos presenta aquí a Pushpi.
Con mucho gusto, muchísimo gusto. Voy a leer el currículum tal cual es, porque vamos a aprender mucho de este currículum, su hoja de vida. La charla que nos va a dar se llamaría Servicios que provee la Organización Internacional de Migración, siglas en inglés IOM. Vamos a leer el perfil de Pushpi. Pushpi es una especialista en construcción de paz, justicia restaurativa, gestión de la migración, desarrollo y diplomacia. Tiene experiencia en Asia, Europa, Oriente Medio, el Caribe, América del Norte y América Central. Actualmente es gerente de programas subregionales de la gestión del conocimiento con base en la Organización Internacional para las Migraciones en El Salvador. Anteriormente fue coordinadora de proyectos de estabilización y protección del programa de emergencia del huracán Dorian en las Bahamas. En el 2019, en Bangladesh, fue oficial de apoyo a los refugiados. Dirigió la unidad de apoyo de emergencia, aportando su experiencia para diseñar una estrategia de cohesión social y coordinó los esfuerzos de gestión de la crisis de los refugiados de Rohingya. En el 2018 estuvo en Irak, en Erbil, Bagdad, Dohuk, implementando el programa creación de condiciones para el desarrollo e implementación de reparaciones para sobrevivientes de violencia sexual relacionada con conflictos. Pushpi se unió a la OIM en el 2017 como oficial del programa Naciones para establecer y administrar la unidad de cohesión social y reconciliación. Eso fue en Sri Lanka. Encabezó el equipo que brindó apoyo técnico al gobierno para la aprobación de la legislación, la capacitación de los comisionados y el establecimiento de la oficina de reparaciones. En nombre de la OIM en Sri Lanka, Pushpi también coordinó la primera conferencia internacional de reparación en Sri Lanka, junto con el gobierno y USAID. Antes de esto fue coordinadora de la sociedad civil de la Open Government Partnership para Sri Lanka. Fue fundamental para facilitar el proceso de múltiples partes interesadas con todos los ciudadanos y la sociedad civil y los ministerios en el desarrollo del primer plan de acción de Sri Lanka, que recibió la aprobación del gabinete para su implementación. En octubre del 2016 inició y coordinó la Secretaría de Reconciliación para la Secretaría de la Presidencia de Sri Lanka, donde facilitó la redacción fíjense bien, de la primera política de reconciliación nacional de la nación. Wow. Antes de esto, coordinó proyectos sobre reconciliación y desarrollo para Search for Common Ground. Trabajó en la Oficina de Prevención de Crisis y Recuperación del PNUD en la misión de Sri Lanka ante las Naciones Unidas en Nueva York. No puedo omitir nada de esto, voy a seguir. Durante el conflicto de Sri Lanka fue gerente de programas jurídicos de la Organización de Derechos del Desarrollo Internacional. Fue gerente de transformación de conflictos en Business for Peace Alliance y directora de Alternative Dispute Resolution Institute. Pushpi tiene una maestría en administración pública en la Universidad de Harvard, donde también fue miembro del prestigioso programa de capacitación práctica política para mujeres de Harvard Square to Oval Office, maestría en transformación de conflictos en la Center for Justice y también fue becaria de Rotary y maestría, también tiene una maestría en administración de empresas de la Universidad de Wales en Inglaterra. Diploma de posgrado en Derecho Comercial Internacional de la Universidad de Buckingham, donde también fue presidenta de la Sociedad de Derecho. Es mediadora y negociadora formada por el programa de negociación de la Facultad de Derecho de Harvard. Actualmente, Pushpi es una candidata a doctorado en el programa de estudios de paz y conflictos de la Universidad de las Naciones Unidas por la Paz en Costa Rica. Ya termino. En el 2011 ganó ella el Premio Nacional de Rotary por la Paz. Aquí entra Rotary, otorgado a un destacado constructor de la paz, y esto fue en Sri Lanka. Una vez que se convirtió en Rotary en el 2012, fue presidenta de becas de distrito durante 2 años consecutivos. Es becaria Paul Harris. En el 2018-2019 fue presidenta del Club Rotario de Cinnamon Garden, distrito 3220. En el 2005 presentó a Sri Lanka en el programa de capacitación en liderazgo para mujeres como beca de liderazgo para visitantes internacionales en el Departamento de Estado en Estados Unidos. Y por fin en el 2011 recibió el certificado de excelencia del Ministerio de Educación y Habilidades en Inglaterra por el servicio que prestó como consultor en prácticas y voluntaria del milenio en la Oficina de Asesoramiento de los Ciudadanos del Reino Unido. Y si quieren más masa, periquitos, Pushpi fue capitán del equipo de bádminton en la OIM de Sri Lanka en el 2017, que sumó los subcampeones. Fue subcampeón en el torneo institucional de bádminton en la ONU, y también fue galardonada con los colores completos en baloncesto, netball, atletismo y en el cricket también. Si bien es ávida amante de la vida salvaje y la naturaleza, Pushpi es una fotógrafa aficionada. Bienvenida, Pushpi. Welcome to El Salvador. Welcome to our club.
Thank you. If I knew you were going to read the whole thing, I wouldn't have sent that to you.
It's difficult.
You should have just picked out the Rotary stuff. That's.
And actually, he left out a couple of things.
Thank God.
That you won a Peace Prize that was given by the Prime Minister of the UK, and also the Rotary International Peace Award. So, congratulations! It's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's all yours.
Now it's all mine. So let me. Do you want to tell everyone that I don't mind being interrupted while I'm talking, and if they want a translation, that you will do so?
Yes, of course. Pushpi dice que ella no tiene ningún problema con que la interrumpa en cualquier momento. Si alguien tiene alguna pregunta o tiene algo que quisiera que le aclararan, que la pueden interrumpir sin ningún problema, o si necesitan que le traduzca algo, con mucho gusto le ofrezco mis servicios para traducirles ahí en cualquier momento, cualquier cosita que no se haya captado. Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen here.
Okay.
I hope everybody can see it now.
Yes, we can see it.
So a very good morning to everyone again. I was asked to talk about the work that I do. So I'm going to introduce International Organization for Migration, and then also talk some parallels into what Rotary and we do together, or we can do together. So this is my organization, International Organization for Migration. We are the UN arm for migration. We were founded in 1951, and we came to Salvador. We were established in Salvador in 83. And El Salvador joined IOM as a member state in 68. So we have a long-standing relationship. Our regional office is in Costa Rica. That Costa Rica acts for North and Central America and also the Caribbean. Headquarters is in Geneva. We have about 100 officers worldwide, and 98% of our activities are projectized. So this is a picture of a warehouse we have where we collect stuff for our beneficiaries. These are bags with food and books and whatever that's needed for the beneficiaries. The mission of IOM is all about migration management. We talk about migration issues, look into the social and economic development of the migrants, and we try as much as possible to get all the organizations in the world who are working with migrants, including the governments, to treat them in a human and dignified manner. Here you have the main units of IOM, and I'm trying to draw parallels between the 7 areas of focus of Rotary. If you see, it's very, very similar. We have peace building at IOM, and of course, Rotary, we do have that. And then we have protection, human rights, child rights, victim rights, gender rights, education, and economic rights, which is similar to basic education and literacy and disease prevention and treatment, because what Rotary does is also go according to the Sustainable Development Goals and try to provide the rights for the beneficiaries that we work for. Then we have a main unit called health and mental health and psychosocial support. So almost all the staff that comes directly in touch with the beneficiaries, with the victims, with the migrants are trained in psychosocial first aid, at least as a basic. But beyond that, we do advanced courses on mental health and psychosocial support because starting from the guard at the gate of our office, the beneficiary comes in contact with them. So they need to know how to move with victims. Then we have disaster risk reduction and resilience, the emergency unit, the unit that usually works with when it's a hurricane, flood scenario. So during ETA and IOTA, there was a lot of work in these units. The next one is assisted voluntary return and reintegration. That's where we have our biggest projects on. So when you have migration happening, starting from Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, going across Salvador and El Salvador, and then there we have people coming over from Panama and Belize, Costa Rica. So now recently in March, last March, we had a migrant caravan. This is where we have most of our work embedded, starting from finding out whether there is a migrant caravan, and then figuring out where we should put a makeshift tent for shelter, where we should set up medical clinics, and where we should make sure that unaccompanied minors, that means kids who travel by themselves, should be protected, and how we should protect them from coyotes, traffickers, because there's a lot of trafficking for organ trafficking, for prostitution, there's rape, there's torture during these migrant caravans. So we provide protection for all that, while we also provide temporary shelter for those who have on their way in this migrant caravan, then halfway through they decide, okay, we don't want to go to the final destination, too difficult, it's not a right thing to do, we want to go back home. When they tell us that, we make sure we put them in safe shelter till they are provided. We provide them with buses, money to go back. And then we also do reintegration programs. That means we make sure when they go back to their own community or when they go to a new community, that they are helped with economic support, skills building to start a new life in that place. And also to make sure that they are culturally assimilated into that society. We also have WASH, which is what you call water, sanitation, and hygiene in Rotary. The same thing, make sure that they have clean water and there's running water. In fact, we did a big project in IOM Bahamas about this because water was of a scarce resources there in the islands. And of course, community development. I first talked about when the migrants go to a new community, we make sure that they have connections, networks that they can obtain jobs from. We do skills building depending on what the community needs, what kind of laborers the community needs. So I hope here we establish a little bit of connection between Rotary and the work that we do, because most of the time, especially in Sri Lanka and also in Bangladesh, I requested the help from Rotary clubs to partner with us in some of the projects. And we always had a very good relationship because we have the same ethos, the same beliefs of wanting to make people's life better selflessly. This is one of the main big projects that we have. It's called Integrated Response on Migration. It's across 6 countries. So Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Panama. Here, what we do is we promote good migration governance and community stabilization. So good migrant governance is what I talked about before. When the migrants are moving from one country to the other country, we make sure that it's done in a secured manner, providing with the protection and the health needs they want. And then when they go to the society, we make sure in that society that they are stabilized, meaning they have a place to stay, a place to work, and they are recognized by the local authorities to be given the same rights as the locals do, as much as possible. So here we find victims who have been raped, victims who have been tortured, and then we also have the LGBT community, which I know is a stigma in the society. So they need safe places to stay. They are threatened. And we also know those who are linked to gang violence, they're also threatened if they want to get out of the system. So this is one of the programs. The picture you see behind, the black and white picture, is a picture of us rehabilitating ex-gang members and giving them a training on skills building for them to come out of the vicious circle. This is another project. I was talking about this to presidents, and this is, we call it Pioneer. So we just started this, and we have around 200 or 300 million for this entire project. The first step is being taken place now. There is an ongoing training. If you see below the picture, a gang member is being registered to be trained. Mainly this is focused on youth, but we don't have a typical cutoff age. It's done, even though I used these pictures in the presentation, of course, this is not publicized like this, because we are very particular about the protection aspect of the members who are with us. We also go into looking into specialized legal frameworks with the government to establish support for the rehabilitation, because we realized that in order for the society to accept the ex-members, that there should be the support of the government, the support of the legal system, and of course, the support of the community, where we have a lot of events that links the community and the ex-gang members. This is the other big project that we have. It's so big that we actually have a separate building for them. So this is the building in front of the whole sim building is separated for that, because this is done under high security. It's called the Resettlement Support Center. What happens here is, under the US refugee admission program of the new US government, they have an annual budget of 340 million, and they target in getting 110,000 refugees into the US per year, that is worldwide. So we have centers here in Central America, we have in Africa, in Asia. So you provide critical support and processing services for the resettlement to the US. How this works is, if somebody thinks that they are threatened in their own country, in their own soil, with evidence, they can go to UNHCR, UN High Commission for Refugees, and they will process their cases. Once it's processed there, they come to IOM to do the rest of the work. So we provide them the migration health. We do the health test with them, cultural orientation, organized transportation for them to get to US. Global Compact for Migration is a worldwide agreement that all of us have signed up to. And I just wanted to show that there are 23 parts to it about migrants, and IOM abide by all of it. And so does the Salvador government, El Salvador government. If a government signs up, they must abide by it. How we do this kind of work is, of course, with the government, right? So what we do, we prepare the country for disaster. We give them pre-training, and of course, we also add in who do we do it with? We do it with the community, the governments, other UN agencies, INGOs, NGOs, private sector, and I would usually put Rotary here, because in other countries they do projects together. And where do you do this? You do it in the local, national, regional, and on a global level, because we have a lot of intra-country projects, especially if you're buying. And when to? All the time, right? We always are prepared to act on an emergency. So even the staff are trained, and they are what we call upskilled to do the work that they're doing. Why do we do this? So that is to improve the quality and make sure there's up-to-date speed. So especially when it comes to natural disasters, the hurricane don't tell us that they're coming, they just come. By the time they come, we need to be prepared. So we do a lot of training with the community level organizations. This is a newsletter I prepare every week. So this one is the Assisted Volunteer Return Program in El Salvador, but we also have one for Honduras, and Guatemala. We do Honduras and Belize together. So 4 countries. In this leaflet, which is shared worldwide by our Washington, DC office, we put really detailed information like how many migrants did we help that week. So for instance, as we here now have a COVID update, we say by April 25th, the government of El Salvador had confirmed 68,318 COVID cases and how many they have vaccinated so far. And if we have found any positive cases during the migrant caravan, what have we done? How many PCR tests have we done? If anybody was positive, what have we done with those beneficiaries? Did we contact their health providers in the original country? So for instance, if somebody is going from Honduras, is going across Honduras to Salvador, then once we get them, come across them in El Salvador, what are we going to do? Are we going to return them back to Honduras? Have we done that properly? That sort of information goes in this. And it's nicely shown here in graphs and all, because of course we want all our donors to read about the work that we do and also be aware of the information that we have so that they can think of better projects to do. We also have publications like this. Periodically, we put out publications on migration, and we are hoping that other organizations, INGOs, NGOs, read about it and learn about it. That's basically about my work. Unless you have any question, I will go to the peace conference and explain a little bit about it. Is that okay, Nelson?
Yes, Pushpi. Yes, go ahead. It's all yours.
Okay. So that was about my work. Unless you have any questions about that, you can also ask me later. I'll talk a little bit about the peace conference. As a Rotary alumni, peace alumni, now that I'm here, I am part of the committee that's organizing this peace conference, which is to be on the 19th of June. Of course, it's online, but what's happening right now at this stage is we are looking for panelists to present at this. So at the barbecue, when I met Nelson and the rest of the Rotarians, I was mentioning about this. And now, even though the deadline has passed for the speaker panels, I've managed to get the keynote address devoted to El Salvador. So I'm seeking everyone's support to make this a success. I think Nelson would tell you more information about who the speakers are going to be. It's going to be pretty high level. We're hoping to meet again separately and discuss about it. But I must tell you the rest of the committee is pretty excited about this. Even yesterday I was speaking to them about it, and I told them that by next week I can give them the detailed names of who would be speaking. I think the Minister of Education has already agreed. So we are hoping other, was it a judge, a Supreme Court judge, and a couple of other ministers, yes.
Yes.
So we hope we can put that together nicely.
Correct. We're waiting on the economy minister. Apparently it's positive so far. We're just waiting on that confirmation. The environment minister as well. We're waiting on the confirmation. And and yes, the judge, it's a magistrate of the court that's going to be there regarding family and all that.
That's related. Yeah. All right. So yeah, and I would also see if the chief of mission of IOM could also be part of the panel, so that we have a wide array of subjects that would be spoken about the entire region. This is about the scholarships. So a quick reminder that 15th May is the deadline. And just an explanation. So there are two types of scholarships. One is a master's degree, the other is a professional development. I've been talking about this within the UN, and I have one contender from Honduras. He said he'll reach out to the Rotary clubs in Honduras. And there's one contender here. I would probably introduce him to Nelson this week. he is into peace building. So the kind of people that you have to look for the professional development certificate are people who have been in this field for some time. And they would get a 3 weeks long field study. And I did this. It's very interesting. They also take you to 2 other different countries, and they teach you about a live conflict, meaning a conflict that's going on right now. So when I did the program, from Thailand, they took me to the southern Thailand because at that time there was a conflict there. And I also went to Cambodia to study about the Khmer scenario. So we got to speak to actually ex-Khmer soldiers. That was a huge experience. So I would urge the club to look for potential scholars and propose them to the TRF, because this is a good way of building not just the portfolio of your country, but also you come down to the club level. And this is another way of getting prospective members who will contribute to the activities of the club. Right, that's it with me. These are some pictures that I cherish so much because while I'm working in the field for IOM, working with beneficiaries, this little girl, she never left my site when I went on a site visit. The pink house is her house. So she was the one showing me around the house saying, of course, in my language, that she showed me her room, which was damaged, her teddy bear. So these are the touching moments that you come up with and you realize that being a peace builder is a lot worth sleep nicely. The far corner left is the Mediterranean community who devastated by it. And so this is where peace building happens. I am from a different ethnicity. So they are very close and word another with that thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pushpi. Ahora, si alguien tiene alguna pregunta, muy bienvenida. I don't know if you noticed, Pushpi, but we've been having like more people like getting in lately. Like in the last 20 minutes, there were 4 people that entered. Now we have here David Barra. It's in here as well. No sé, ¿tienen alguna pregunta, consulta para Pushpi? Marito Ballesteros.
Hi, Pushpi. I just wondering something. If for peace development, my thought is you need to have economic develop to make it easy. Because it's easy when the people have food, have a roof over his head. But what happens in countries like ours,
touch with another network, private they don't have and we also connect them to that private sector or the government organization to provide them with a job. If that doesn't know how to do self-help. There should be community development. That's part and parcel of peace building. The problem here is when you look at the entire country, that's the big picture. True, you can't have an industrialization revolution overnight. It's going to take time. But how we work 10 people, 100,000 people get. So for instance, if an owner of a factory says, let's talk about the ex-gang members. If there's somebody who's willing and providing some sort of labor and also says we are prepared to train them, then that's a big with they are in this huge manner.